Let me ask you a question. Is someone standing between you and God? Not by force or by law, but by anger or mockery or pressure or even control? Sometimes people stay away from church not because they don't believe, but because someone close to them disapproves. And Scripture is clear. No human being has authority over another person's obedience to God. Proverbs 29 verse 25 tells us plainly that fearing people is a snare, a trap that quietly restricts movement and obedience. See, a trap doesn't announce itself. It just limits where you're allowed to go. Jesus never shaped his call around human comfort. Following him has always created tension where truth confronts resistance. Psalm 139 teaches that God personally formed you, knew you, designed your life with intention before others ever spoke opinions into it. You belong to God before you belong to anyone else. Your faith is not jointly owned. Your obedience is not negotiable. Your calling is not subject to approval. John 3 verse 19 explains that people resist light because it exposes what they prefer to keep hidden. That doesn't make them monsters, but it does mean you cannot surrender obedience just to preserve their comfort. Light changes rooms. Truth disrupts silence. And conviction often masquerades as anger. So this is where we must slow down and be honest. This is not about church attendance as a habit. This is about distance from God. And Scripture does not treat that lightly. Isaiah 59 verse 2 says that sin separates people from God. Listen, separation is not symbolic language. It's relational reality. Romans 3 tells us that all have sinned. And then Romans 6 says the wages of sin is death. Not some inconvenience or discomfort, death. Jesus himself described separation from God as outer darkness in Matthew 8, a place of loss and regret and finality. Paul writes in 2 Thessalonians 1 that those who do not know God face eternal separation away from the presence of the Lord. That phrase matters. Away from the presence of the Lord. See, church is not the goal. God is the goal. And anything or anyone that keeps a person from hearing the word, responding to conviction, gathering with believers, and growing in faith is literally pulling them away from life, whether intentionally or not. Jesus said in John 10 that he came so people may have life, not later or eventually, now and eternally. Eternity is not something you can postpone without consequence. No spouse will stand in your place before God. No parent will answer for your soul. No friend will share your judgment. Hebrews 9 said it is appointed for man to die once, and after that comes judgment. That makes this serious. It makes it urgent and personal. Scripture calls us to live peaceably where possible, but never at the cost of obedience. Acts 5:29 states it plainly, we must obey God rather than men. Choosing God does not mean yelling. It doesn't mean hostility. It means clarity. Quiet obedience is still obedience. If someone gets angry because you pursue God, ask yourself, why does my obedience threaten them? And then ask the question that actually matters. Who has authority over my eternity? Because only one voice will speak the final word over your life. So let me say this personally and clearly. If you've walked away from church because of people, then find another one. People fail. Churches are made of people that will never change. And if you've chosen not to attend because it causes discomfort with someone else, understand this. It is still a choice that you are making. I'm not saying that to condemn you. I'm saying it so you don't deceive yourself. Whether you come to Northern Light Church or attend somewhere else makes no difference to me. This is not about building this church because God is already doing that. What matters is that you are seeking God's guidance in your life and pursuing a real relationship with Jesus Christ. We are not promised tomorrow. And every time you allow someone else's anger or opinion or pressure to pull you away, you are gambling with something far bigger than comfort. You're gambling with your own eternity. So give it to God. Ask Him to lead you to a church home. Ask Him to bring the fellowship that you need, the instruction you're missing, the courage you've been lacking, the confidence you need, and the light He's been calling you toward. Don't let someone else decide your obedience. Don't let someone else determine your eternity. Give it to God and follow where He leads, because this isn't a game. God bless. Maybe we'll see you on Sunday.